By the end of Friday evening, 7 members of the current England squad will know they will not be heading to Germany for the Euros. While Monday's win over Bosnia and Friday's final friendly against Iceland have been billed as additions for the tournament, the reality is that Gareth Southgate is not a manager who is easily swayed. For all that he might claim key decisions are still to be made, the England boss will know who wants on the plane with him next week. It's a decision where we understand the significance for all of the players, said Southgate, in the wake of Monday's victory at St. James Park. So, we're giving it the respect and consideration it deserves, to make fair and right decisions. Of course, it's always going to be subjective, and we've got to balance what we need in every area of the pitch as well. That's the added complication. It's not just getting the best individuals in, there's a positional element to that as well. But we've got really good options. So, who is likely to miss out? And where does the uncertainty still lie? Well, when it comes to the latter question, Southgate has been hedging his bets because of the doubts that still exist over the fitness of both Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. Neither is expected to feature against Iceland on Friday, but there is increasing confidence within the England camp that both will be past fit to make the squad. Whether they are match-ready to line up against Serbia in England's opening group game a week on Sunday remains to be seen, but assuming they are part of the 26-man squad, Southgate might feel emboldened to reduce the amount of defensive cover he had been considering. That said, though, the fact that 2 members of his first-choice back four have barely kicked a ball for at least 2 months will almost certainly mean he still feels compelled to overload on defenders, even if it means an additional attacking player having to miss out. So where does the axe look likely to fall? One of the 4 goalkeepers currently with England will be jettisoned, and that looks like being James Trafford, with Dean Henderson getting the nod to join Jordan Pickford and Aaron Ramsdale in Germany. For all that defensive cover will be required, it is hard to imagine Jared Branthwaite or Jarell Quansah making the cut, even though the former was handed a senior debut as a substitute against Bosnia. Similarly, Curtis Jones' inclusion in the initial squad was largely an attempt to give the Liverpool youngster some experience of the international scene. He will not be part of the final 26, 4 down, 3 to go. Will Southgate take 3 centre-forwards to the Euros? He didn't at the last World Cup. With Callum Wilson providing the only cover for Harry Kane, and with Cole Palmer, Jared Bowen and Anthony Gordon all able to fill in up front if required, Ivan Toney could be vulnerable. The fact he didn't feature at all on Monday night could be instructive. It feels like a midfielder will have to go, and the feeling in the last week has been that it will be Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton who fails to make the cut. Wharton impressed when he was introduced as a second-half substitute on Monday though, successfully completing all 36 of his passes on his international debut, and Southgate made a point of praising his performance after the game. "There's no question he's impressed us," said Southgate. "Why did we bring him in? We saw things in his performances for his club. The biggest thing for him is that ability to see a picture and play forward early. That sounds really simple, but it hasn't been so simple for us over 7 or 8 years, to have that type of player. There's a lot still ahead of him, a lot of adjustment, but I think the other players have recognized his quality very quickly. That could mean Wharton makes it, in which Jack Grealish's place could be touch and go." The Manchester City winger set up Trent Alexander-Arnold's goal at St. James Park, but he has struggled for game time domestically this term and finds himself up against both Gordon and Eberechi in a wide left role. Perhaps he could be a surprise omission. Finally, assuming Maguire and Shaw make it, another defender will surely go. Ezri Konsa and Joe Gomez can play in a number of different defensive positions, making them attractive squad options. While Mark Gahey looked shaky on occasions against Bosnia, he looks to be Southgate's backup plan at centre-half. So after a somewhat disappointing domestic season with Brighton, Lewis Dunk could be the last name off the list.